Naruto Senju was well known as a fearsome warrior in Konoha no Sato. He was Tobirama Senju's son, trained by the Nidam as his successor alongside a ninja named Haruzin Sarutobi. The reason for this is that if one of them died, someone else would take the hat. Naruto was well known for being cold, ruthless, and extremely efficient when it came to killing. No one who stood up to him made it out alive. In fact, there were only 4 people who could compete with him in a battle: Hashirama Senju, Tobirama Senju, Madara Uchiha, and Izuna Uchiha. He had a friendship with Izuna. Hiruzen wasn't even on the same level as him. In fact, he assisted in the training of the younger boy when his father was unavailable. He was currently on a solo assassination mission to help mend relations between Konoha and Iwa. There was apparently a bandit leader who no one from Iwa could kill, and he had been dispatched to deal with it. Of course, he was successful. He was always a winner. He'd never failed a mission before. What Naruto didn't realize was that one of Sarutobi's family members, an assassination unit member, was after him so that Sarutobi could become the next Hokage. He had no idea his family was taking matters into their own hands. He was a fan of Naruto. Naruto was jumping through the trees when he was suddenly encased in ropes with tiny hooks digging into his skin. His eyes widened, he cried out in surprise and pain, and the ropes tightened before yanking him down to the ground. With a puff of dust, he slammed into the dirt, and the oxygen in his lungs was forced from his lungs in a violent gasp. A man approached him while he was paralyzed from the shock of his oxygen deprivation, unsheathing his katana. "Now Hiruzen will get your position, as he deserves, Senju," Naruto said as he slowly focused on him. Naruto exhaled a gasping, shuddering breath and asked, "Who are you?" "My name is Griyu Sarutobi, and I'm Hiruzen's relative who only wants the best for him. He'd never want this. He isn't required to know. I can only say that I found your mutilated body and felt compelled to bring you back to the village. Now say goodbye." Naruto's eyes widened as the katana rose and then fell. His body jerked, splattering bright red liquid across the clearing. Griyu straightened and smiled as blood trickled from Naruto's lips, staining his chin and neck red as it dripped to the ground. The katana was buried in his chest, and a pool of blood was forming beneath him. Naruto coughed, and the ropes unraveled, freeing him, but he was too weak to move anyway. He gave a small laugh as he looked up at the nin, his eyes quickly dulling. "They'll catch up with you. I applied a seal to my body that revealed my murderer." The man's eyes widened, and Naruto remained motionless as the last of his life faded from his eyes. Griyu noticed a glow on Naruto's palm as his body relaxed. That would be his demise, though he had no idea. He quickly began mutilating the body to make it appear to be a lucky rage attack, and then he left the body there. Tobirama was given the final moments of his son's life, and his red eyes were filled with rage and despair. He screamed in pain at the death of his only son, and Hashirama rushed in. "Tobi, what's the matter?" When Tobirama turned around, Hashirama noticed the glowing seal on the white-haired man's hand. His pupils dilated. "No. It's not possible. He's no longer alive. Naruto has died." Hashirama's eyes welled up with tears as he remembered his nephew's death. Who was it? Griyu Sarutobi as a person. He apparently wanted to give Hiruzen a shot at becoming Hokage. He did it without telling Saru. Hashirama bowed his head, then looked up, clearly enraged. "Tobi, I'll go take care of him. You stay and manage the village. Naruto's death will not be forgotten." Tobi looked at his older brother, nodded, and then looked at a photo of his son smiling next to him. "Okay, go. If you can't find his killer, bring him home and bury him here." "I will," Hashirama said, nodding. Then he was gone, leaving the albino man to mourn his only son's death. Naruto Uzumaki was a strange young boy. He was a jokester, a ray of sunshine, and, most importantly, an idiot. Or so everyone assumed. Naruto's upbeat, idiotic demeanor was a ruse. It hadn't been at first, but one day, while the mob was chasing him, he'd simply snapped. Nobody knew he was calm, intelligent, and ruthless on the inside. He was the loser who had failed 3 times in a row. He was running through the village right now, holding a paint bucket in one hand and a paintbrush in the other. He was hungry because the Hokage monument had been brightly colored and vandalized. He felt someone behind him only seconds before a sharp pain ripped through his shoulder in midair. He was thrown off course and fell to the ground, landing on his back. He screamed again and arched his back as the kunai dug deeper into his shoulder, then pushed himself to his side weakly to prevent the weapon from going any deeper. He remained motionless after that, attempting to remain conscious as the wound slowly caused a puddle of blood beneath him. After a few minutes, his eyes slid shut and he collapsed, cold from blood loss. Hyuk smiled as the Kyuubi brat screamed in agony and fell to the ground. They had been instructed not to injure the boy in these prank situations, but the boy had fled into the forest near the Uchiha compound. Nobody has ever come here. He'd be able to permanently exorcise the demon. He jumped down and saw the demon's eyes close as he fell limp, and he smiled darkly before pulling out another kunai and placing it at the demon's throat. It had only drew a trickle of blood when he was hit with a rock and a voice yelled, "Hey! Leave him alone. What's the big deal?" His head whipped up, ready to glare, and he saw the last Uchiha with another rock, ready to glare. Damn it. He couldn't finish if there was a witness. He couldn't kill the Uchiha because that would mean torture and death if he begged for it. He yanked the kunai away, then jumped away from the Uchiha. Sasuke dropped his rock and dashed over to Naruto. Though they kept it a secret, the blonde was his friend, and seeing him about to be killed had been terrifying. Naruto was the only one who understood him and was physically capable of training with him. The blonde was saving her energy for everyone else so that he could be assigned to the same team as him. He quickly reached down and picked Naruto up, slinging the blonde's arm over his shoulder and staggering back to the compound, where he lived despite the ghosts he believed haunted him. Naruto stayed with him whenever he had the opportunity, which was almost every night. He even assisted the blonde in his pranks. When he returned home, he gently placed Naruto on his side on the futon in the guest bedroom and examined him. He quickly grabbed some bandages and warm water after discovering the kunai as the only major wound. "Sorry, Naruto," he winced, pulling the blade out with a strong yank. Naruto jerked and gasped before falling still, and Sasuke went to work. He wiped the blood away, allowing Naruto's natural healing ability to take effect with some steam. He wrapped it in bandages and tied them tightly because it wasn't completely healed yet. Before going to Naruto's little dresser in his temporary room, he removed Naruto's now bloodied jumpsuit top and the black shirt underneath it. He took out a new t-shirt, slipped it on his friend, and then took a step back to clean up the mess he'd just made. He left Naruto to rest once everything was cleaned up. He was confident that his friend would recover quickly. He'd come here many times, beaten and bloodied by angry drunks, and he'd woken up fine. That's why Sasuke was so skilled at medical procedures. He gave the unconscious blonde one last look before walking away. Naruto walked through a sewer system, curiously looking around. What happened to him? He eventually arrived at a dimly lit section with a large cage and a person standing in front of it. As he approached, the person turned to reveal himself to be a 16-year-old boy. The boy had spiky white hair that reached his mid-back and was held in a low ponytail. His eyes were a deep red with a violet ring around them. His skin was very pale. His fingers were long and calloused, indicating that he had used weapons frequently. His physique was lean and lithe, with wiry muscles hidden beneath his tall frame. His attire was also noteworthy. He wore ambu-like gauntlets that went to his elbows and covered the back of his hands up to his elbows with metal, and he wore a leaf hitai tied around his brow. He was dressed in long, loose black pants tucked into his ninja sandals, which billowed at the bottom like the noble's hakamas. His shirt was actually two shirts sewn together. He was dressed in a loose, long-sleeved, black shirt with a V-neck. Below his first shirt was another, mesh shirt, as revealed when the V was filled in with the mesh. A long katana with a blue sheath completed his appearance, making him appear lethal. "Hello, Naruto. I've been waiting for you," the boy said as he came to a halt. "Why are you waiting for me? Where are we?" "We're in your head. I'm waiting because you're me and I'm you, but that can't happen until you meet me." "What exactly do you mean?" "I am Naruto Senju, the soul of your previous life." "Your name was Naruto as well?" "That's strange." "That's true, but I think our soul just likes that name." "So, if you're my past life soul, why are you here?" "This is your mind, your soul. I was waiting for you to visit me so that we could bind together and be what we were meant to be." "But I'd still be myself, right?" "Yes, you would, but only slightly with my memories." "Well, what shall we do?" "Just stay still." Naruto nodded and remained motionless until the older Naruto slammed his hand into the younger's chest. Younger Naruto exclaimed, and then older Naruto began to dissolve as younger Naruto began to recall memories. After a few minutes, older Naruto had vanished, leaving younger Naruto exhausted on the ground. The smell of ramen was the first thing Naruto noticed when he finally awoke. This, of course, caused him to jump up and raise his nose for the smell. When he realized it was coming from downstairs, he removed the blankets that were covering his lower half. He stood up and looked down to make sure he was dressed properly, and once satisfied, he began his descent towards that delectable smell. When he got to the kitchen, he saw something amusing. Sasuke was cooking ramen in a pan while wearing a black apron with little red fans on it. As he entered the room, Uchiha looked up, his black eyes widening in surprise. "Is that you, Naruto?" "Yeah, are you feeling okay?" said Naruto, cocking his head. "Naruto, check your reflection." "However, why?" "You'll see when you get in there." Naruto's brow furrowed in perplexity, and he went to the bathroom, leaving Sasuke to finish cooking. He entered the bathroom and looked in the mirror, only to have his eyes widen in surprise. What? With his new memories, he had completely changed. He looked more like his old self now than he had expected. His hair had almost whitened, though it was still a little yellow. It reached his mid-back and was extremely spiky. He now understood why his older self had kept his hair in a ponytail. His eyes were also different. Starting from the pupil, they were red, then violet, then back to their original bright blue. His body had lengthened and become lean with wiry muscles, similar to his previous life. His posture screamed dangerous, and he appeared to be getting older. His baby fat had vanished, leaving him with a long face and high aristocratic cheekbones. He appeared to be 14 instead of 12. He sighed as he realized his shirt, which had been too big, was now almost too small. It was snug against his body, which he could tell had grown quite firm. His pants had previously only reached the middle of his shins, but they now resembled capris. He'd have to reconsider his clothing choices. Looking at the orange hurt his eyes, as well as his chest. He couldn't believe he was wearing these. It broke his heart to see what an idiot everyone thought he was. He would, however, keep it for the time being. After all, he still wanted to be on Sasuke's team. Speaking of Sasuke, he reminded me a lot of Izuna. When he thought of his old childhood friend, he felt a familiar pang in his heart. He recalled Izuna's death and funeral. He'd been irritated with his father for days after Izuna died, blaming him for his friend's death. After a while, he realized that his father had no choice and that it had all been an accident. He'd forgiven his father since then, but he still mourned Izuna. With his familiar face, Sasuke had to be a blood relative of the other Uchiha. He shook his head from his sad thoughts and then used a hairbrush from Sasuke's bathroom. Naruto had no idea why he had that. Wasn't his hair too short? And brushed his spiky hair to try to keep it in place. It didn't work, so he resolved to get a hair tie right away. He sighed and set the hairbrush down before returning to the kitchen. When he got there, Sasuke was just making bowls. "See what I mean?" said Uchiha, looking up. Yeah, I get what you're saying." "So? What?" "Explanations. You know that," scowled Sasuke. "How was I supposed to know?" said Naruto, innocently. "Naruto," Sasuke said with a warning tone. "Fine," Naruto sighed. "This may sound completely insane, but I am a reincarnation." "Is it a reincarnation?" "Yes, of a person named Naruto Senju, the only son of Tobirama Senju, the Naidam Hokage. I was on the verge of death when I was brought together with my previous life, and we merged." "Are you a Senju reincarnation?" "Yes." "I don't think I believe you." Naruto huffed before smirking and clapping his hands. Sasuke stared at him, perplexed, until a tree root rose from the ground and wrapped around Uchiha, effectively trapping him. "Proof," said Naruto triumphantly. "I see. You're just as odd as ever. Alright, I believe you. Can you let me go?" "My food's getting soggy," Sasuke sighed and slumped. The roots sunk back into the ground. It wasn't widely known that Naruto Senju could use the Mokuton, but he couldn't had trained with his uncle Hashirama on it, agreeing to keep it a secret advantage. Sasuke sat in his chair, and Naruto grabbed his chopsticks and began eating right away, starving after nearly dying. Sasuke just rolled his eyes and said, "I guess my food's good," before starting to eat his own. A few days later, Sarutobi was sitting in his office, going over the academy graduates and forming teams, when his door burst open and Naruto stormed in, looking enraged. "What's wrong this time, Naruto?" he asked, lighting his pipe. "What is wrong? What is wrong? What has this village come to? What the hell kind of graduation test was that? I could have passed that with my arms tied and my eyes blindfolded. Do you want them to die on their first real mission?" Naruto, what are you talking about? Why are you so angry?" Sarutobi eeped from the killer intent emanating from the blonde, dropping his pipe. Sarutobi had a horrible premonition when Naruto looked at him with his strange red, blue, and purple eyes. That long hair reminded me of someone. His eyes were a familiar shade of red. That murderous intent was all too familiar. Now, Sarutobi was terrified that a horrible suspicion he had was correct. The great shinobi god, the third Hokage of the village hidden in the leaves, was terrified. He had the impression that someone he had feared had returned to haunt him after being dead for 60 years. Now, Saru-chan, tell me why my father's standards have been completely overridden and destroyed." "Why, pray tell, are we trying to kill off our population?" Naruto said in a deadly cold voice, towering over Sarutobi. "Naruto-sensei?" shrunk Sarutobi. "Yes." Oh shit, Sarutobi's eyes widened. He was in big trouble. He knew he should have severed ties with the civilian council a long time ago. Perhaps he could shift this to them, and they would be completely decimated by the enraged Senju in front of him. Hashirama Civilian Sama's council has been slowly stealing my power with petty decrees. They changed the standards. Please don't kill me. It was them. I will fix it. I expect you to regain your power, Saru-chan. That test was pitiful. I can't believe it degraded to those simple 3 jutsus. It's pathetic, Naruto said as he shrank and his eyes stopped glowing. As the killer intent was lifted, Sarutobi sighed and looked warily at Naruto. "So, how did you come back?" "Naruto Uzumaki was my reincarnation, and when he was attacked and nearly killed a few days ago, our memories merged and became one. However, I can assure you that I have not lost my battle prowess. I already tested it on the route Anbu Danzo tried to send after me yesterday. Oh god. We're all screwed. Konoha is about to get a wake-up call, isn't it?" said Sarutobi. "Yes, it is. By the way, I expect to be on Sasuke's team. Other than that, I don't care. Ino Shikacho would also be good," Naruto said with a dark smirk. "I will take your advice. Is that all you wanted?" Sarutobi nodded and leaned forward, a little more relaxed now that his old sensei wasn't radiating pure killer intent. "Yes, it is, and I'll be at the team listings tomorrow, Saru-chan." Naruto vanished in a blur of shunshin after Sarutobi nodded. But as soon as he was gone, Sarutobi slammed his head on his desk. "Oh, we're all screwed. The best I can do is try to avoid Sensei's wrath," he shuddered. When Sensei was angry, he was on a whole other level. Even he couldn't stand that kind of murderous intent. He knew what he'd just witnessed was just the tip of the iceberg. Konoha had been duped. Naruto was at team listings the next day. He'd gleefully burned all the orange jumpsuits with a fire jutsu Sasuke needed a target for as soon as he graduated. He had immediately purchased new clothes that were similar to his old ones. The long, wide, flowing black pants had undoubtedly been added to his wardrobe. His shirt, on the other hand, had changed. He was now dressed in a skin-tight mesh, no-sleeved shirt underneath a loose dark blue shirt with wide flowing sleeves that hung off his wrists and his usual metal plate and gloves. He'd gone to the Senju compound, which was sealed with a blood seal, and gone to the old weaponry, where he'd found Shirayuki, his old katana. It was a long katana with elemental conductivity. His father's Raijin no Ken was similar, but it carried lightning. Shirayuki was in charge of water and ice. Shirayuki was currently tucked into the black and blue sash he wore around his waist. His Hitai-8 was wrapped around his brow, and his hair was pulled back into a low spiky ponytail. As he looked around the room at the pitiful genin, his eyes were like chips of ice. Except for Sasuke, none of them had even noticed he was here. For God's sake, he wasn't even attempting. He was just being quiet and still, with his eyes darting around the room as the only movement. "Alright, class, quiet down. I know you're excited," Iruka said when everyone arrived. When killing intent flooded the room and Naruto's cold voice echoed through the now dead silent room, your superior is trying to speak. Hold your tongues, he leaned back, propping his feet up on the desk as everyone turned to him. Yes? He cocked his brow. Who the hell are you? What was that? Kiba demanded. That was a small amount of murderous intent, and who do you think I am? It's Naruto, idiot. Troublesome, now my nap's ruined. Why'd you have to piss him off? Shikamaru's head rose up with a mutter of troublesome and looked at him with a scrutinizing eye before turning to Kiba. Kiba's jaw dropped and he became enraged. No way, that's Naruto. Naruto's a loser. Deception is a ninja's greatest tool, Naruto scoffed, turning back to the front of the room. Might we continue, Iruka-sensei? Yeah, here are the new teams. Naruto simply snorted as he examined the time. Their new sensei had arrived 3 hours late. He'd take care of it. I'll be back, he said as he stood. You can't leave, Naruto Baka. We'll get in trouble. Sakura exclaimed. Shut your mouth, you annoy me, Naruto said coldly. He heard Sasuke snort and then he was gone in a shunshin. He searched the village quickly until he found the silver-haired man from the bingo book standing near the memorial stone. He narrowed his eyes at the perverted book in Kakashi's hand, but he set it aside and grabbed the Junin by the back of his shirt. He dragged him through the village, ignoring his lewd giggles, until he arrived at the academy. I'm back. Here's our new sensei. Watch out, Sakura, he's a pervert, he said as he walked straight up the wall, leaving Kakashi slightly stunned, and then threw him out the window. Sakura's eyes narrowed at the word pervert, and Kakashi wisely put his book away, saying, my first impression of you is... You're boring. Roof in 5 minutes, and then he was gone. Naruto scoffed, grabbed Sasuke, and walked up the side of the building, leaving Sakura behind. He got to the roof and put Sasuke down before turning to Kakashi and pulling his book out again. If I see that book, I will burn it, and believe me, I can. Ask Saru-chan. Kakashi looked at him, and Naruto's eyes narrowed as he began a quick set of seals. Fire style. Great fireball. Naruto said, putting his hand to his lips. Kakashi's eyes widened even more, and he swerved to avoid the blast of flame, landing about 5 feet away. He was suddenly unable to move his feet, and when he looked down, he saw roots steadily creeping up his legs and holding him still. Now put the book away, Naruto said as he approached him. That's better, Kashi-chan. I don't want to see it out again. Okay? Good boy, Naruto said innocently as he patted the Junin's head like a dog. The roots vanished, and Kakashi dashed to the other side of the building, saying, you scare me. You're nothing, I scare the Hokage. Kakashi sat down, suspicious of him, and waited for Sakura. Kakashi's wariness made Sasuke chuckle. This was going to be hilarious. First impressions starting at Team 1? Sarutobi leaned forward as Kakashi arrived at the meeting for the new Junin instructors. They're doomed to fail. What about Team 2? Same. 3? Ditto. 4? In addition. This was going to be a bad batch, sighed Sarutobi. 5? Yes. 6? Fail. 7? They frighten me. Everyone turned to look at Kakashi, and Sarutobi asked, what, Kakashi? They frighten me. Would you mind explaining? They are frightening. Oops, I forgot I gave you Naruto. My advice is to let him do his own thing. You'll regret it if you don't, Sarutobi winced. All of the Junin's eyebrows rose, including Kakashi's. Why, may I inquire? Said Asuma. You know my old sensei, the really scary one? The one with the same name as Naruto? Sarutobi asked. Oh dear God, please don't tell me. Asuma sighed. He returned, and he returned angry. Asuma paled even more and dropped his cigarette as he shivered in fear. His father had told him many stories about the terrifying Naruto Senju. They were all screwed if that kid could scare his father, still scare his father. Are you sure it's him? I am certain. Dear God, if he's on a warpath, God help us all. Yes, indeed. Now, Team 8? It's possible. 9 are still in use. 10, it's possible. 11, it's possible. 12? It's possible I'll pass. Thank you, and good luck on your tests tomorrow. Oh, and Kakashi, under any circumstances, do not tell Naruto to come after you with the intent to kill, or you will die regretting it. Kakashi looked concerned and nodded. Alright, I won't. Thank God, I don't want to replace you. You're free to leave. They can't go on AC rank yet, Hokage-sama. They're not ready. Frowned Iruka. Example, send Naruto? Sighed Sarutobi. Iruka cowered as Naruto nodded and the room was flooded with killer intent. Naruto drew it back and resumed his nonchalant demeanor. Even Kakashi appeared shaken. I think they're ready, Iruka, Sarutobi said, looking at Iruka. The Hokage threw the mission scroll at Kakashi, escort mission to the wave. You're guarding a bridge builder by the name of Tizuna. Tizuna, come in. The door opened and an old man smelling of sake entered, guzzling more sake. Naruto sneered at the strong odor of alcohol, and a well-aimed kunai knocked the sake bottle to the ground, shattering it. I smell the alcohol on you, old man. It disgusts me. I will not tolerate it, Naruto said. You're my guard, Gaki. You have no say. As Naruto stalked forward, Sarutobi paled in horror and quietly backed up against the wall. He approached the bridge builder and said quietly, What did you say? I hope you weren't insulting me. You and no, IW wasn't, Mr. Ninja sir. Tizuna paled at the killer intent that washed over him. That's what I thought, Naruto said as he backed away, his eyes unnervingly red. Ahem, yes, do you take the mission, Kakashi? Said Sarutobi, slipping back into his seat. Yeah, we'll take it, Kakashi said, nodding. Fine, Tizuna wants to leave in 2 hours. Gate in an hour, team. Pack for a month-long trip. We don't know how long it will take, Kakashi said, nodding. They nodded and then vanished. What exactly is it, Sakura? This is my bag. It's a suitcase, Naruto said, his eye twitching. It's a month-long journey. You don't need a suitcase. What kind of kunoichi takes a suitcase on a mission? I have to look good for Sasuke-kun. You wouldn't believe it. Naruto's eye twitched again, and he took a deep breath. I will let you know that we will not assist you in carrying that. It is entirely your responsibility. Sasuke-kun, will you help me? Will you, Sasuke-kun? No. What the heck, why not? It's a suitcase, not mine. I brought a single bag, Naruto brought a single bag, Kakashi brought a single bag. No one but you brought a suitcase, so it's your problem. But Sakura's jaw dropped. No, it's your problem. Deal with it yourself, Naruto cut her off. Are we ready to go? Asked Kakashi. Naruto noticed Kakashi looking at the pedal. As soon as they passed it, 2 nins jumped from it and tightened a chain around the junin. Kakashi, or more accurately, his Kawaramid logs, exploded in a hail of blood. One piggy down, the nins laughed. They tried to attack Naruto next, but he effortlessly drew Shirayuki and slashed through them as they passed him. Their eyes widened as blood splattered across the clearing, and Naruto shook the blood from his blade before turning to face Tizuna. Explain, now, or we have one less client, he said. I Gato. We're building the bridge, and Gato doesn't want it finished, but Wave is too broke to pay for a higher rank mission, so we had to. Please don't quit. I'll die, Tizuna said palely. I don't care if you die. You lied. They're just kids who haven't even killed yet. If we keep going and one of them dies, I'll take it out on your head. Do you understand? Yes. I was going to say something similar, but Naruto has covered the bases. The question is, do we continue? Kakashi jumped down as Naruto moved his blade away. Sakura said no right away, but Sasuke paused for a moment before asking Naruto, do you think we can handle this mission, Naruto? Yes, with me on the team. Do you want to? Sasuke appeared to weigh things in his mind before nodding. Yeah, I'll continue. I go where Sasuke goes, Naruto said after a brief silence. What do you want to do, Kakashi? Who are you really? Kakashi asked, looking at him with his blade. Naruto. No response. Even the Hokage is terrified of you. Fine, Naruto Senju. Tobirama Senju's only son. Naruto Uzumaki nearly died, so my old memories surfaced and I bonded with them. You're Naruto Senju? Dear God, no wonder Hokage-sama was afraid of you. Now I understand why he said not to tell you to come after me with the intent to kill, Kakashi said, pale. Naruto nodded. Indeed, shall we proceed or not? If you're that Naruto, we'll keep going. Alright, bridge builder, today is your lucky day. Let's go. Kakashi, S-class nin incoming. I felt him, Naruto. Understood, Naruto said, spinning around and grabbing Sakura and Sasuke's heads, get down. Kakashi pushed Izuna to the ground, and a massive sword slashed through the nearby tree, sinking at least 6 inches into the bark. Naruto cast a glance at Zabuza Momochi, the bloody demon of the mist. Kabikirabocho was the name. This mission has just become much more dangerous. Well done. You sensed me. You won't be so lucky again, a man said as he landed on the sword. Really? We won't? That's rich coming from you, the man who was lucky enough to be able to kill his entire class of genin. Lucky enough to have training in the use of the sword beforehand. Naruto laughed coldly. You know what I did, but you're not afraid? Of you? As if. I've met far scarier people, far more talented and fearsome than you. You're just a baby demon. Who the hell are you to say such things to me, genin? Snarled Zabuza. A rank is just a title. You have no idea how much I've been withholding. How about we find out? But Naruto, he's extremely dangerous, Kakashi said. So was Madara, Naruto smirked, but I sparred with him all the time, until he left the village. Kakashi's pupil dilated. He had forgotten who this Naruto was. Alright, he's yours. Let's dance, Zabuza Momochi, Naruto said as he stood up, cracking his neck and smiling darkly. The sound of metal on metal and the splashing of water clones that were destroyed filled the next few minutes. Exhilarating laughter quickly followed by Naruto's voice, someone who knows how to fight. Everyone else is pathetic, but this is a real battle. I agree, kid. I haven't had this much fun in ages. More clanging, then a pained cry, and Zabuza collapsed to the ground, a gash across his chest. I shall be your executioner, Zabuza Momochi, Naruto said as he landed and brandished Shirayuki. 2 senbons sped from the tree and pierced Zabuza's throat, causing him to fall to the ground limply and drop Kabikirabocho. Naruto's eyes narrowed as a hunter nin approached and took the body and weapon without saying anything. Hunter nin immediately burned the body. The body was not taken with them. So be it. Later on, he'd get a good fight. He's not actually dead, but he's gone now, he sheathed Shirayuki and turned to face the others. We can go to my house, Izuna said, and you are welcome to stay there until your mission is completed. We'll take it. Lead the way. I need to talk to Naruto, Kakashi said, nodding. So, Naruto. Have fun? Izuna nodded and took the lead, and Kakashi fell into step next to Naruto, whose eyes darted around looking for enemies. Best fight I've had in a long time. I'm hurt. Your genin test wasn't difficult? No, it wasn't. You're an excellent fighter, I'm sure, but you hold back when training, and that's simply not enough to challenge me, Naruto deadpanned. Well, we'll have to have a real spar sometime then, Kakashi said with a pout and an eye smile. Of course we should. When are we going to return? Sure. Then it's scheduled. Naruto estimated that Zabuza would be back in a week, so he decided to spend that time training Sasuke. They were currently in the backyard, and Sasuke was attempting tree walking. He was making headway, albeit slowly. Sakura had refused to train, much to his dismay and expectations, but Naruto had dismissed it. If the stupid girl wanted to die, she would. It wasn't his issue. It was her decision. Damn it. Why can't I get it? Said Sasuke again. You keep getting blown off. Try using a little less chakra. Just think, once you're done with this, I'll teach you water walking, Naruto said. Walking on water? It's like tree walking, but with water. Sasuke's eyes shone with new determination as he returned to the tree. Naruto chose to sit and meditate. He crossed his legs and easily relaxed into a meditative state. His senses expanded to cover the area around him. For the next mile and a half, he could see everything that moved. He was content. After completing the tree walking exercise, Sasuke sat on a tree branch and looked down at his friend, who was sitting completely still with his eyes closed. He watched with fascination as small plants sprouted from the ground around him. All of the flowers in the area bloomed. All of the leaves on the tree appeared to be turning greener. The birds appeared to begin singing. Ferns began to grow thicker. The animals became more vocal. The small plants around Naruto grew taller and blossomed. With wide eyes, Sasuke observed. Being so in tune with nature was a great accomplishment that only Hashirama Senju had achieved. Naruto opened his eyes after a few moments to reveal a green line glowing around the edges of his irises. It vanished quickly, and the plants stopped growing, though they remained tall and proud. "You finished," Naruto said as he looked up at him. "I did, indeed. Do you want to start water walking now or later?" "There's a pond nearby," Naruto said. We still have an hour before dinner." Naruto nodded and led him to where he had detected water. The trick is that water is not a stable surface. As a result, you need to constantly fluctuate the amount of chakra in your souls. This will probably take a few days to get, but it's well worth it, especially in wave country where water is everywhere, he said as he walked out onto the surface. Sasuke nodded and slowly placed his foot on the water's surface. He placed chakra on his souls and took a cautious step outside. He'd gotten about a step and a half before falling in with a splash. Naruto hid a small smile and sat on the water's surface to observe. People like Kakashi preferred that people figure out what they were doing wrong on their own, but Naruto preferred to point out minor issues and interact with his student, if he could call Sasuke that. Naruto kept a close eye on Sasuke as the chakra entered the boy's soul. "You're making a solid layer of chakra on your souls. Try making it fluctuate," Naruto said after splashing in again. Sasuke glared at him and then tried it again, taking 3 steps this time. "Perfect," Naruto said, nodding. That night, a drenched Sasuke and a proud Naruto entered Izuna's house. Sasuke had already taken 5 steps, a huge accomplishment for someone who was just getting started, and he only demonstrated that he would continue to improve quickly. Said Kakashi, looking up at Sasuke. "Water walking, as you can tell, we're just getting started," Naruto said with a smile. "What about tree walking?" Kakashi asked, his eyes widening. He got it in a few hours and wanted to go water walking right away. "I see," Kakashi said with a smile. "Well, good job, Sasuke." "Where's Sakura?" "She refused to train with us." "I have no idea." "I tried to get her to join, but she didn't want to learn from the loser," Naruto sneered. "That girl is going to be the death of me. She has no idea what it means to be a kunoichi," Kakashi sighed. "Yes, I've seen. It's pathetic." Naruto nodded. Sasuke, on the other hand, lives up to the name genius. He's already taken 5 steps on the water. 5? Already? That's impressive, Kakashi said, raising an eyebrow. "Would you like to go get some dry clothes before dinner?" Naruto asked, nodding. With a nod, Sasuke led the way up the stairs. They arrived at the boys' room, and Sasuke entered, only to yell and flee seconds later, "Help!" Naruto raised an eyebrow, and Sakura dashed out, makeup on and hair perfectly brushed, wearing very revealing clothes. When Naruto saw Sasuke dodge, the hall was filled with killer intent, all aimed at Sakura. "This is what you were doing instead of training. Do you want to die? You think looks are more important than life? You're a fool. If I see this again, I will request you be removed from the ninja program, and I am very influential with the Hokage. Do you understand?" She shook in fear and nodded, and the killer intent was gone. She bolted from the corridor, and Naruto pinched his nose. "There you go, Sasuke. You may change now." "Thank you, Naruto," Sasuke said, nodding. "I got in there and she tackled me and tried to pull off my shirt. If there's one thing I despise with a passion, it's fangirls. I've had experience," Naruto shuddered. "Experience?" Raised Sasuke's brow. "Yes, the only son of the second Hokage, who was 16, straight, and sported an athletic build, and I was mobbed with fangirls. Until I told them all I was gay, and they ran away, but I got a month free." "Gay?" chuckled Sasuke. "Yes. I see, I'll give it a shot." "Feel free, but it's not working."